Is this thing on or how's it going? Well, hello and how's it going? Well, how's it going?
Hello, and how's it going? Hello, how's it going?
Well, how's it going? Well, how's it going?
Well, no, sorry. Well, how's it going?
Well, how's it going? I'm here with you. I looked at you and I started
I was
laughing.
going to say good.
Well, how's it going? I'm here with Kristian and Madison, and we're back.
We are back.
The back, baby. My phone vibrated.
Try not to laugh.
Well, how's it going? I'm here with my co-host Kristian.
Why are we already laughing?
We're already laughing because we're both severely hungover.
It's not good.
No.
We're not in a good way. And
And we're missing Madison.
I know. We're also worried that Maddie's not going to be here to keep us in check. So this is high risk and
Low reward.
very
Yeah.
low reward, evidently.
Ideally, if we can actually get through it, this episode is meant to be a spotlight on our very own Kristian Karamatic.
I picked a week to do it. And in case people have not checked out our last couple of episodes, Madison is overseas. Her and Nick have gone overseas to Europe as of 2 days ago. But our original production manager, Dom, came back this week too. So it's kind of like a one in, one out situation at the moment. Before we jump into my spotlight, though, I've got to put Benny on the spot a little bit. So we've been hyping it up on the show for a little bit now. But last night, the reason we're so severely hungover is Ben finally had his big boxing bout.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
we all went. A lot of us boys. I was there. I was really hoping Ben was going to rock up and have a black eye for this recording session. He doesn't because he won.
Yes, I was very
Yeah.
lucky to win. We even brought a little.
We've got the belt.
got the belt with us as well.
This is good. We're going to hopefully upload this as a full video podcast too, so you'll be able to see the belt here the whole time. We're going to flex it a little bit.
Yeah, great idea for a video podcast when both of us have black eyes, black bags underneath our eyes, and not looking very healthy. But anyway,
It's okay. You know what? We don't look good on a good day anyway, so what's the difference?
100%.
But no, Benny won. It was a great fight. So they do, what was it, 3 rounds, 90
rounds.
seconds per round because
Yep.
it's an amateur fight. Benny was versing Regan was his name?
Yeah, Regan was his name. Yeah,
Regan Spicer from
Cullen Civil. I'm
Cullen
pretty
Civil.
sure. Yeah,
And I will say, Regan put up a great fight. I'm not to take away from Ben. I was very impressed with how Ben fought, but it wasn't an easy fight for him. They went all 3 rounds, no knockouts.
No.
Generally don't get those in
not in
amateur fights.
90-second rounds. It's hard.
Yeah. And Benny won by decision.
I did. We came over the belt. I woke up with a bit of a sore nose and a sore jaw. Copped a few. So, but no, it was a great night. Raised a lot of money for charity, and was very lucky to have all my mates, family, and a lot of people from work there supporting me. So
Yeah, it was a great night. We all had a lot of fun.
we did,
And obviously-
and we took it a bit too far.
We
Yeah.
say a bit, way too far.
Yeah, but
You
you got to do it.
it's got to be done.
You don't win a belt every day.
No, and he's gonna carry it around with him now for the next year, I reckon.
100%.
Everywhere he goes.
Yeah. And now I can tell my son that I'm a professional fighter. So.
He retired with a 1-0 record. The undisputed champion of the Illawarra, Benjamin Kenneth Spiteri. Sorry, I just really want to throw your middle name in there.
So yeah, we'll kick
Yeah.
it off with the spotlight of KK, our very own Kristian Karamatic, our
And-
mortgage broker to the stars.
Mortgage broker to the stars.
I'm trying to glow you up.
That's because you're the star. And I'm the mortgage broker.
thank
Is
you
that what
very
it is?
much.
Yeah. Technically, you are a star now. Actually, that's even better. I can now tell customers that I'm the official mortgage broker for a heavyweight champion.
The only true thing about that is that I am a heavyweight.
I'm not even going to comment. But-
Well, I'll kick us off. Christian's normally the one good at asking questions, so bear with me. I am quite hungover, and I'm going to go for it. But I guess we'll try and delve straight in and kick us off and try and learn a bit more about Kristian.
Yeah. What would you like to know, Ben?
Yeah, I feel like I'm on a speed dating app. No, I think a good place to start might be why mortgage broking.
Why mortgage broking?
Very broad
That's
question.
such a existential question to dive
it
right.
is.
I thought we were going to ease into it. Like, tell us your full legal name.
No,
What's your date of birth? Where are you from? No, why
we'll
broking?
delve into that as
Why
we go
broking?
through, I think.
Look, growing up throughout high school, even then through uni, my brain has always been wired towards economics and finance.
To money.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's always clicked very naturally in my brain. It's kind of always just felt like second nature, and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
So to me, I never really could see myself doing anything other than economics or finance. I did a bachelor's degree in economics and finance at uni, which obviously further piqued that interest.
Yep.
I was very fortunate to actually get a job at ING Bank while I was still finishing up my last year of uni.
Mm-hmm.
The job originally was basically I was effectively a call center monkey for 6 months. I say that with all due respect to people who do that job because it was a very hard job.
So, look, someone's got to do it.
Hard job, very low reward. But you know what? It was entry level. It got me in the door. Did that for 6 months, and then it just kind of happened not by chance more so, but I guess I ended up shifting after 6 months into the sales home loan team at ING.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as a broker, people come to me and I act as the intermediary between them and the bank. But banks also still have direct lending channels, and they employ staff who basically write their home loans. And that was what I was doing at ING. And I did that for about, I think, a year and a half, I believe it was altogether.
So you're 6 months in the original role, fresh out of uni?
I was still
studying.
Uni.
Okay.
Yeah, I was writing home loans while I was still finishing my uni degree at one point. It was not easy because I was commuting to the city every day.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
While
studying.
Whilst doing, I think at that point I dropped to part-time to finish off. I think it was but still I think I was doing 3 subjects in my last 2 semesters of uni.
Yep.
Still a decent workload.
Yeah.
Trying to balance. I was still playing soccer that year too, actually. I was commuting to the city every day and then trying to make it back for training on Tuesday
2 days a week and playing on a Saturday. Jeez, that's rough.
Yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, and then I did that for about a year and a half, and it kind of got to a point I was already writing home loans. I'd already built up that skill set, and I somewhat enjoyed it.
Yep.
The actual home loan side of it, obviously, being on phone calls all day is pretty draining. And then, so my dad has been working in that kind of space for decades. He's got over 30 years worth of lending experience under his belt. So at that point, he was working for himself as a broker.
Yep.
And in 2020, the pandemic hit, and I ended up working from home, still working for ING, but working from home. Whilst dad was in the next room to me, also working from home, writing
competition.
We were writing loans in rooms next to each other, and it kind of got to a point where it just kind of made sense. Dad was inundated with work; he couldn't keep up. He was talking about potentially bringing someone on to help lessen his workload, and I kind of went.
And you're sitting in the room next to him, going, "Hey,
I write home loans anyway."
Don't forget, Dad.
Yeah, and I know because before I started the job at ING, I remember speaking to dad about it, and he said, "Look, I want you to go get some real world proper experience before you come work for me."
Yeah.
Mainly because initially at the beginning I worked for dad. It obviously eventually evolved into I effectively work for myself now. So to dad, it was very important that I had some discipline instilled in me in terms of
I think it's a good idea as well. You can go and actually see.
Yeah.
If you're only in the one office space for your entire life, it's completely different. And
Yeah.
you went and tested the waters and
Correct. So the why broking basically was it honestly just kind of, for lack of a better phrasing, it really just fell into place.
Yeah.
It sort of was a case of I always had an interest in that. Obviously, apple doesn't fall far from the tree in terms of my father. Ben's laughing because he knows my dad. He knows how. Dom's laughing too.
Dad, laughing because he's a top bloke.
Well,
he's a better bloke than Kristian.
I was waiting for that. There it is. I was wondering how long that was going to take. And yeah, it just kind of happened that, I was already writing home loans, earning whatever salary I was earning. And, going into broking, obviously it's a commission-based structure. So the earnings are effectively limitless.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, well, why would I sit there slaving away from one of these big banks when I can go work with my dad and do it for myself?
See you later, ING, and hello, Lover.
Pretty much, yeah. At that point,
so what year was that? That was 2020 during
So November 2020 is when I made the switch.
Peak COVID.
I remember it was peak COVID. It was also, the timing of it was horrific. So at the time, throughout 2020, my grandfather, who we all lived in the same house together, got really sick.
Yep.
And he actually passed away the week that I gave my boss my 2-week notice.
Wow.
So I basically, luckily my old boss, Nick, he was a legend of a man. I loved that guy. I basically had to call him and say, listen, I was going to call you this week anyway. Number one, I've got to give you my 2 weeks, whatever it was, 4 weeks, I can't remember. And he was happy for me because he knew my dad was a broker. And I said, but I also need a week off because my grandfather's just passed away. And he was like, wow. Awful timing. But all in all, I think it was obviously the best thing I ever did in terms of that move. And that was, so it's coming up to 5 years now in November.
Wow.
So I've been broking.
That's exciting.
Yeah. 6.5 years writing home loans.
Wow.
A decent amount of experience.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It feels weird to say that we left school 10 years ago as well.
We did. We graduated 10 years ago.
Yeah. Leading into that, schooling. So primary school, because I know we've touched on that we actually went to high school in my episode and Madison's as well. But
Year
Didn't
10,
do primary
yeah.
school, and you were from Sydney, I believe, as well.
Yeah, so I only did year 10 to 12 at Holy Spirit with Ben and Dom over there,
Yep.
and with Nick, Madison's husband. Prior to that, I lived in Sydney. So my dad is from Wollongong.
Yep.
Well, not really. He was born overseas, moved here when he was about 4.
What do you mean he's not born in Wollongong?
He's born overseas. I think that was pretty clear.
I was joking, as in he's a Croatian man.
Yeah,
If you will ever have the pleasure of meeting him, you'll know he's a Croatian man.
both my parents are Croatian, and both my parents were born in Croatia. Well, dad in Bosnia technically, but we won't get into the semantics of that.
That's a whole episode in itself.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. It's not a political podcast. Yeah, so dad moved to Wollongong when he was 4 and grew up in Wollongong.
Yep.
And then he basically he moved up to Sydney right when he graduated uni, so in his early 20s.
Yep.
Because he got a job working at NAB. And so he moved up to Sydney. My mum, on the other hand, moved to Australia.
Is this like early?
This would have been,
you're born?
No.
Well,
So he moved up to Sydney in he would have been like 21, 22.
Okay.
So it would have been like the late
20s.
80s.
He was straight into the industry as well.
Late 80s.
Yep.
He graduated uni and he did a Bachelor of Commerce with majors, I think, in management and economics.
Wow.
And he got offered a job with, I believe, obviously NAB. It was a management role with NAB in their lending space. And he also had an offer from, I think it was Grace Brothers, which is what Maya used to be called.
Yeah.
And he chose NAB. He went with the finance, the banking sector, and moved straight up to Sydney. And my mother, on the other hand, she, again, born in Croatia, moved to Australia when she was like a year and a half old. And so, but she grew up in Sydney and she's lived in Sydney her whole life and still does. And so they met because my dad moved up to Sydney, and then they got married, obviously had my older brother, had me, and we lived up in Sydney. Then they got divorced in 2005. So I was like 7. And I stayed in Sydney with mum until I was about 14, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was December 2012. Me and my brother then moved down to Wollongong to live with my dad and my grandparents.
And you both then started at Holy Spirit.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So where were your early years of schooling in Sydney?
So when my parents were still together, we lived in the Shire, actually.
Okay. You're a Shire boy. Wow.
I
actually didn't know that about you.
I went to St. Joseph's in Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay. Okay.
So near like Janali, you know what Janali is?
Yes.
Yeah, that area, Como.
You would have stood out like a sore thumb in a Shire area.
Yeah, very much so. Back then, yeah. Good little wog boy. Yeah, so we lived in the Shire and I did all of my primary school there.
Yep.
I still regularly say to my parents, if you could have just figured out your marriage situation with your millionaires now, because it's the Shire. I know how much they bought that house for, and I tell you what, compared to what it'd be worth now in the Shire.
The marital advice.
This does not constitute financial advice. It's marital advice. Yeah, and then from there, I did year 7 to 9 at De La Salle in Revesby, because in 2007 we moved. My grandparents originally, on my mum's side, they were lived in Narwee.
Yep.
And then they sold that house and bought up in Padstow, which is in like the Bankstown area, and we moved in with them. And Revesby was obviously a suburb next door, and there was a good Catholic school there, an all boys high school, and that's where we went from year 7 to 9.
Okay.
A bit all over the shop.
Yeah.
I think I did the math once. I'm similar to Maddie. I think I counted once. I think I've moved house in my life, I think close to 20 times.
Wow.
It's a lot.
I think I've 3 or 4 times. That's between multiple homes. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, so then Holy Spirit 10 to 12 and then UAW.
UOW, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really make sense to go nowhere else, did it?
No, I feel like majority of people from our school went to UAW, and really you all went for a piss up anyway. Like I was the idiot that left school and was starting at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock.
It was chip rolls at the uni bar.
Yeah, yeah. And then I remember the first early years was trying to catch up with you guys at Retro, and I'm like, I actually have to go to work the next day. You're all like, yeah, I don't have a shoot until like 11.
Not even half the time. Even if you had stuff on Friday, you just didn't go. It wasn't most of the time. It wasn't mandatory anyway. So if you were severely hungover, you just didn't go. Fortunately, don't have that luxury now tomorrow with work. But anyway.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So bit all over the shop. Originally from Sydney. Mum grew up in Sydney.
Yep.
She now lives in what's the suburb called? Thorney.
Okay.
So out near Picton.
Yep.
And my grandparents still live in the same house in Padstow. So I've still got family up in Sydney too.
Yep.
But Dad is down here in Wollongong in Fig Tree, which is where our office is as well. We have a home office at Dad's place. My brother and my sister-in-law and my 2 nieces also live in Fig Tree.
Yep.
My auntie and my cousins, my auntie, their family home is in Unanderra, suburb next door as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're all pretty Still pretty close together, with the exception of one of my cousins, David, who lives in Melbourne. And he does listen to the podcast sometimes, so shout out.
Shout out to David.
Shout out, David.
Well, I've always known you as definitely a very family-orientated person.
Yeah.
I've definitely had some nights in your grandparents' garden in Victoria as well.
For the record,
Composting.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Isn't there a video somewhere of Dom?
Yeah.
As well?
I thought you were going to say me. Sorry.
I've got plenty of you. But I'm pretty sure. I think even Dom had a couple of rowdy nights in our backyard too. Yeah.
I think there's a video of either you or Farina. Maybe it was both of you eating an onion.
No, that was you and Farina. I've got that video.
Perfect. Shout myself out.
No, so again, we lived with my grandparents, right, on my dad's side, and they were the kind of people I still to this day maintain they had better social lives than I did. My grandmother in particular, like she was one of those people. And my dad's always told me, even growing up, they never had an empty house. They loved hosting people and having people over. And the same kind of applied to me. Obviously, by the time they met a lot of my friends, they said, "Oh, you guys want to do something? Just invite the boys over here. We'll cook something for them. We'll do a barbecue. We'll get some, do whatever we need to do." And yeah, so we did a lot of those kind of nights there, which was
and it was one of the most warm and inviting places you were ever lucky enough to be invited to, and you were always left drunk and fed
until my granddad brought up that arc. Yeah, then you question your life decisions. Yeah,
it was always good fun.
Yeah.
So leading back more into work, I guess, Lova, give us a bit of a rundown on the early stages with your dad. And
yeah, so originally when I started out, it was a kind of, Dad and I sort of had a deal, so to speak, where, because obviously when you start broking, there's a massive period where you basically have no income until you build up your book.
Yep.
And even then you settle your first, if I started broking in November and settled my first loan in November, I wouldn't get paid that till the end of December. It's always a month in arrears at the end of the month. So
that's the fun of a commission-based industry, isn't it?
When you initially make that jump, there's a period there where you basically have no income.
Yeah.
And so the deal Dad and I kind of came to was he would pay me a certain wage, and that would involve me doing a lot of his grunt work, basically. So his loan inputs, his compliance, his paperwork, his admin, all that kind of thing. And then I, on top of that, would also then start running my own business as well.
Okay.
So the early stages was a bit of a combo of working for under Dad and doing, obviously, him showing me the ropes a little bit too, as well as also trying to build up my own book a little bit. And that sort of lasted for probably not long, to be honest with you. I can't remember exactly when Dad stopped the whole wage thing and we went back to doing our own thing, but eventually obviously got to a point where I had enough of my own work to keep me busy. I didn't have time to do his stuff too.
Yep.
And then in 2022, so not even 2 years in, I think it was midway through 2022, we hired Christina is my cousin Dennis's wife. And they've been together. They started dating, I think, 14 years ago or something like that. So she's been in our family longer than I can even remember, really. So she started working with us as our loan writer, and basically loan writer, office manager, compliance officer, everything all in one. All the paperwork and the grunt work and the day-to-day stuff that Dad and I were struggling to find the time for, she took on all of that.
Okay.
And she is still with us now, and she actually recently got all of her accreditation. She is now also a fully qualified broker.
Shout out to her as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's all very exciting. And for her, it just works really well because when we hired her, she had a little one. Her daughter, Tia, who is now 3.5, at the time, I think it was before she was 1, she started working with us. Before that, Christina was working in car yards, basically, and she loved it. She absolutely loved it. But unfortunately, when you have a young child, you can't have that kind of flexibility. And we offered her the job, and in the early stages before Tia was old enough to start going to like daycare and stuff, she'd bring her to work.
Yeah.
So she'd come in 3 days a week, and we'd have the little one there with us the entire day too. So it was quite nice. Worked really well for me and Dad. It was a massive help to us, and it was. I like to hope Christina, correct me if I'm wrong, but great for Christina too, because she had a job that she could come make a bit of extra money, and she had total flexibility. So, the days if Tia was sick and she didn't come in, it was not a problem. Like, she didn't have to put in for sick leave and get medical certificates, all the rest of it. And she had that flexibility, which was cool. So now we're still currently a 3-man operation at the moment. In terms of where we go from here, there's obviously, I've got designs on wanting to grow the business a bit more. My dad obviously is now going the other way. I think he wants to not shut up shop, but he's, in the twilight of his career, so to speak. So, and he's openly said in the next few years, he wants to potentially look at retiring, enjoy some of the good life while he still has the energy to.
100%.
So yeah, we're kind of just going to keep plodding along for now anyway, for the immediate future until that happens. And when that change happens, it'll depend on where we're at. But, my goal ultimately is to try and grow the business and become more of an established name in the Illawarra if I can. It's one thing I want to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good for growth as well. And it's, a 3-person team.
Yeah.
Easily grow into plenty more, especially with the drive that
Absolutely.
you've got.
Yeah, something like that. I try. I try. Some people tell me I take on too much, but anyway.
I won't say that. No.
You do the same thing. You can't talk either.
Yeah, I'm an idiot having a newborn and then trying to follow through at the same time.
Whilst also working a pretty intensive commission early wage job as well.
You gotta love it. Live on the edge.
And playing soccer as well.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, work-wise, that's pretty much the only other thing I did want to mention. So people always ask about the name.
Yes.
So our customer base, we're very lucky. My entire career, I've had to do very limited advertising. Dad basically grew the business through his connections throughout the Croatian community because he's very, very heavily involved in the Croatian communities, both in Wollongong and Sydney.
Yep.
So we never really had to advertise. It's always just been word of mouth, which I'm very, very grateful for.
That's the one thing I thoroughly respect about Ethnics.
Yeah.
It's you go with someone you know and you trust. It's
Yeah.
like,
Absolutely.
how much harder is it for us to build a client base? I feel like even more younger people our age, it's still a bit more, doesn't matter what ethnicity or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But back in the day, it was like, yeah, we know him, we trust him, he's part of our community. We're
Yeah.
going to use him.
And then the network then also grows from there, right? Because if you have somebody you're very close with who says this guy is really good, he cares, he will take care of you, he will look after you, then you're more inclined to go with that person. So
110%.
I've reaped the benefits of my dad's connections, and I'm very open about that. But obviously, because of the way that business was initially set up, the name itself, Lova, it's actually a Croatian word. So Lova is basically a slang term meaning like cash.
That's smart.
So a lot of our, it's quite a catchy name, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of our Croatian clients, obviously, they know what it means and they all laugh at it. So it's quite funny.
I like that.
But I get asked all the time. So for future reference, if anybody wants to know, that's where the name kind of derives from. And it's just a bit of a dig, cash money, cash finance. Yeah.
That was one question, actually. I think, got to ask a little bit earlier, but the beginning of Lova, how did your dad kick that off?
Yeah, so Dad was working at NAB he worked at NAB for 18 years.
Yep.
And at one point he was regional executive for private banking. So he was pretty high up at NAB.
Yeah.
The next move in his career would have had to take him to Melbourne to take the next step up. And at the time, my parents were going through the divorce and he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
At the time when he was seeing us once a fortnight, the parents, divorces are never a fun thing. He made the decision to step back from that. And he got a job working for a mob called X Inc., where he was effectively like a manager, but he oversaw all the brokers in their network. They were a brokerage firm.
Yep.
They then got acquired by Loan Market Group.
Okay, yeah.
And he worked for there for a while. Same thing, managing brokers. And they encouraged him at that time. They said, the kind of work that you do, you need to go do your own broking a little bit on the side so that you know and can empathize with what the brokers you're managing are going through. And so he started that way. And back then it was okay.
So they're telling him to go and...
Back then it was fine. There was no issues.
Wow.
Now you can't. Now if you work for if you work for a bank, for example, you can't then go and do broking on the side.
Yeah.
There's conflict of interest laws. Back then it was perfectly legal. It was no problem.
Interesting.
And so he started broking that way as a side thing, separate to his main job. And then eventually it grew to the point that he was inundated with his normal job and that. And then he actually got retrenched. He got laid off. And at that point, he made the decision. He said, fuck it, and give it a crack, give it a red hot crack.
Yeah.
And that was when was that? I think it was 2010 or 2011, I believe.
Yep.
And then he just went full time with the broking.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's kind of taken off since.
So coming up to 15 years.
Yeah. It wasn't, the Lova brand started a bit more recently because at one point Dad had another family friend of ours who wanted to get into broking. He gave it a crack for a while.
Yep.
And they kind of jointly coined that brand.
Yeah.
He decided it wasn't for him, which is fair enough. It's a pretty full-on gig. I question myself sometimes. And so that's kind of where the name came from at that point. Before that, Dad was just operating under the banner of Finsure, which is the aggregator that we work through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swings and roundabouts, eh?
Something like that. Something like that, Benny.
So a bit more about you.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from mortgage broking and
podcast hosting.
Tell us a bit more about Kristian. What do you like to do outside of work?
As we've discussed on previous episodes, I live and breathe football, soccer, football. I've played it since I was 5 years old.
You think you'd be pretty good if you've been playing for 21, 22 years?
You would think that. It's quite funny, isn't it? You would think that. It's really rich coming from Ben, but anyway. No, I've been playing it my whole life. Not just playing it, I follow it too vividly. I'm an Arsenal supporter.
Yeah, that puts you through enough stress in your life.
It really does. You know what? I always say, if you're an Arsenal supporter, that's more than enough stress for 3 lifetimes. But you can't stop what you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunately when I was a kid and picking what team to follow, the mighty Thierry Henry was
Thierry
in his prime, and it's just sunk its teeth in and hooked me onto the Arsenal. You know.
Gunner for life.
Yeah, I know. What can you do? I love my football. I play for Ferry Meadow United with Ben, obviously. Watch him get carded.
Neither of us play well.
No.
Yeah.
And Dom's just got back. He ditched us for most of the season to go to Europe. How dare he? We were supposed to play yesterday. We got washed out. And
swum out.
Yeah.
It was.
We were still in with a shout to make finals, but because this game's washed down and won't get rescheduled, we're not going to make finals now. So that was devastating.
Yep.
Very devastating. I do play futsal too. So I play soccer on the weekends, play futsal on Tuesday nights.
Yep.
Shout out Dio Mio. Futsal name. I've been playing with the same boys futsal for years too. We play in the same comp. We're a household name in that comp. Again, we're not good. We've just been there for a long time.
Part of the furniture now.
No, we have won it a few times, I will say.
No.
Bit of
Take the wins.
Got to gas up Dio Mio a little bit.
110%. So apart from football, work, is there anything else that makes you up?
Obviously, I'm Croatian background.
Yep.
Anyone who knows me, I think that's what Ben was alluding to. He wanted me to say, but I don't think he wanted to bring it up.
No, I was letting you lead it.
No, I was raised in a very ethnically Croatian household, with both my parents being Croatian. I've, at separate points in my life, lived with both sets of grandparents on both sides, and I only speak Croatian with my grandparents. So living in a household with them, it was basically just, like my grandmother on my mum's side barely speaks English at all, which is...
You are definitely a very passionate Croatian person. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of Croatians tend to be just passionate.
Like even football-wise, again, you flew over to Croatia for the World Cup
2018.
Final, didn't you?
That's a funny story. So I did a semester of uni in Croatia. I lived over there for 8 months. That was in 2017. And I came back in February 2018. Obviously came back, I was a broke-ass uni student before I went. Came back and I was an in-debt broke uni student. And that was February 2018. And then 2018 was when the World Cup was on in Russia.
Yep.
And for those who know anything about football, that was the year that Croatia made it to the World Cup final. The first time in our history we'd ever done that. And it was incredible. Get goosebumps thinking about it. No, but I recall vividly, right? The semi-final was against England. We thumped England. It still makes me happy every time.
Oh, was it 3-0?
2-1. 2-1 in extra time. Mario Mandzukic with the winner.
Yes.
Yeah. And everyone, there's that ongoing meme. They said if one of the England players should have squared it instead of shooting, they could have scored and won it. It was
Sterling,
Sterling,
wasn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, not important. We won.
Croatia was a better side.
Yeah, we won. Fuck them. That game, I remember it was early in the morning, like 4 a.m. or something. And I remember we were at the Croatian Centre in Fig Tree watching it with all the other Croatians. We won. 6 a.m. We're in the car. We're driving around Wollongong, flags out the windows, blasting the horn and the music and things. And I was with Zub.
Yep.
Our good friend Luca, who we mentioned.
He actually doesn't want to be named on the podcast anymore.
Sorry. Yeah, he had issues with that. Sorry. With Zub, with my other Croatian friend Luke Susna, and another one of our family friends from the Crow Church, Ivana. I remember we went and had breakfast after the game. We went to a cafe, whatever, and we're talking because for the round of 16 match, me and Luca were in Melbourne visiting my cousin. We watched that game against Denmark at the casino.
Oh, and Melbourne atmosphere for football is
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I remember at that moment when we won, because it went to penalty shootouts, nail biter. And me and Luca said to each other, we made a deal. We said, what if we make it to the final? And he said, we have to then go. Right. And so we won the semi-final. We're sitting there having breakfast. And I looked at Luca and I went, remember what we said in Melbourne? And he looked at me and he went, yep. And we sat there that morning. We booked flights and we flew out 2 days later to Zagreb, to the capital of Croatia. And we watched the World Cup final in the main square with
I remember seeing your stories of that. That's like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It was incredible. Yeah. So the Croatian thing is obviously a big part of who I am. I do Croatian folkloric dancing. I have done all my life.
Yep.
So I dance for a group up in Sydney called CFE Vukovar, and that's actually the group. That's how my parents met, through that dancing group.
Ah.
Yeah, and so I dance up there now.
Have you found a partner there, or
no? I clearly have not. We've established we have to do the broker once in a while as a segment on this podcast.
Sorry. It just left me so open. I had to do it.
I know, it's okay. I've accepted my role as the single comic relief. But yeah, I also. Obviously, we have a local group here in Wollongong too, which I danced for most of my young life.
Yep.
And I also my dad's always run that group since I can remember, but he stepped down for a while and I was running that group for a few years teaching. This year, I took a step back from it because it was just, maybe said I'd take on too much. And so Dad took over teaching, but he's currently overseas. So I've stepped back in to teach while he's gone again. Yeah. So I do Croatian dancing twice a week as well. Very much so. So yeah, obviously the Croatian thing, we have our Croatian centre and church in Fig Tree as well. So I've grown up in that centre and that community. My grandparents were there from ever since I can remember. My grandparents, my dad, my auntie were always there, volunteering, working, involved in all the events, church, the dancing. I played for our local Croatian football club too, South Coast United. It used to be called South Coast Croatia until the name change rules.
Don't you go to like an annual Crow tournament as well?
Yeah, every year they do a Croatian soccer tournament with all the clubs from around Australia and New Zealand.
That would go off.
It's basically a piss up. And that's coming up this year. I'm going. It's in Gold Coast.
Oh, even better.
I know it's going to be.
You're going to run a mark.
Yeah, a little bit. Make some more bad decisions. So yeah, I've always been very heavily involved in the Croatian community, and you know what? I think it's obviously me and Dad have reaped, more so Dad now, me by extension, have reaped benefits from those connections in the form of business. You know, it translates quite well because, like you said, you build relationships with people and connections, and you get rewarded because they trust you.
Yeah, but you also have to you've built that, and then it's an ongoing relationship as well.
Yeah,
talking from experience, that you are. Both you and your dad are very good at what you do, and it's a very comfortable situation.
Ben just complimented me. I don't know how to feel about
this. Gosh.
Nah, look, I think I always say to my clients especially, the biggest thing that I always try and do is I might not be the best broker in the world, but one thing I will put my hand on my heart and say is that I will always give you my 100% best. And my interest will always be making sure that you get looked after and get the best possible service and outcome that you can. And that to me, I think anyway, is what people like about us and why people keep using our services.
I completely agree. I can attest to that as a customer.
Yeah.
And I would also say it's probably more because we're friends, but one of the big things is that I feel like I can ask you something and it's not a dumb question. Like you go to a bank, and I did that the first time. It was just that typical, mum and dad said, go here. That's where we went. We had a conversation with the bank manager. We got our home loan. It was like, I walked out of there going, what the hell just happened?
No idea what happened.
What interest rate do I have? I don't know. And then I didn't want to ask them because I felt like an idiot. Whereas like, I felt like I could just contact you at any time. I don't have to be friends with you for that, but anyone could.
Yeah.
They can ask you any question, and you're not made to feel silly. You're not made to feel, why are you asking that?
No. Yeah. And I take very special care with people who maybe don't know what exactly is going on, purely because I was in that situation. When I started writing home loans at ING, I had zero home loan experience.
Yeah.
I remember I started, they did an intake. There was 3 external hires and me in that team. And the 3 external hires were all previously brokers. They were coming from brokerage. So they knew their shit. I knew nothing. And I was 21 years old.
You did well to hold yourself in there.
It was not easy. It was a struggle. And I remember sitting there. At one point, I wanted to pull the pin and say, this is too hard and walk away from it. And I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
But I know how hard it is if it's not something you do often or if it's not something you've done before. So whenever I do get frustrated or start losing patience with people asking questions, I always remind myself, no, you were there. You know how rough it is. Just shut up and be patient.
Yeah.
And I'm a human being. Sometimes I do get frustrated too, but I always remind myself, like, no, it's fucking hard. Like, have some patience.
100%.
But yeah, other than that, it's basically football, Croatian side of things. I do game. I've mentioned that before as well.
Yep.
Dom's laughing.
You are very good at gaming as well.
There's the alarm.
Oh.
Go, Betty. Go, Betty. We had to cut there because the alarm went off again. His office hates us. What was I saying? I was talking about gaming. Sorry, that's right.
Yes, and I was saying you're actually very good at it.
Oh, it's one of those things. I don't think I'm that good at it, but if you spend enough time doing something, you get at least semi-decent at it.
You are pretty good. It's like if you've got a group of 10 people and we're all playing a game together, you're generally the best.
Oh, I don't know how to feel when Ben compliments me. It's weird. He normally
remember those like Snapchat games where you had to like shoot the ball in the hoop or something like
Messenger.
That?
The one on Messenger. That's right.
Everyone would be like, oh yeah, I got 50 or I got 70. Kara's like, I got 1,000. And you're like, what?
I hyperfixate on things. That's why I don't have self-control in that kind of thing. I hyperfixate. I'm like, I need to do this. I need to
you do it well. Yeah.
But Dom's over there is like, as soon as I mention gaming, Dom's laughing because Dom's one of my regular gaming buddies. Benny will jump on sometimes, maybe not as much anymore now because
unfortunately, hands are full.
Bit hard nappies, like literally full. When was it? There was not long ago, right after Oscar was born. He was obviously on leave for a week or so. We played one night and Ben sent us a photo of he's playing and Oscar was asleep in his lap when Benny had the PlayStation controller. It was the cutest thing ever.
When I can get him down and I can get a game in, we'll go for it.
So I do. That's honestly usually how I chew out most of my free time. I don't get a lot of it, but when I do, it's that. Like if I get home in an evening after work appointments and it's 8 o'clock, rather than throwing on some brain rot TV show, I'll hit up the boys, say, what are we doing? Let's jump on. To me, it just feels, I enjoy it. It keeps me social outside of work as well. It's a good way to keep in contact with your mates and it's good fun.
110%.
I've got a hyperactive mind. So for me to just sit there and spend 3-4 hours watching a TV show, I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
So it keeps my mind occupied. And I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else that really. I like going out drinking. Sorry.
Yeah. We all
We've already established we're very.
If you
dark
couldn't
people.
tell from looking at it both today, yes.
I'm a drinker.
You're pretty good at that too.
Yeah, I like to think so. So are you. I think you know what I think our whole friendship circle is. But anyway, that's another conversation for another.
That's a whole nother episode. I think that's called a meeting.
My name's Kristian.
One of the two questions that both Madison and I got asked. What is your favorite cocktail?
Passion fruit mojito.
Passion fruit mojito.
Either that or a Long Island. I love
Long Island. Oh.
Depends what kind of drinking session I'm in for.
When you hear a drink and you just get a vivid memory of a bad night. Yep. Yeah, I just had that.
For me, if I'm on a sesh with the boys, like we're going out with the intention of like going out, hit me with a Long Island. If I'm just kind of having a cruisey, like if I'm on a beach somewhere in Greece, or in Italy or wherever I am, or in Croatia.
Passion fruit mojito.
Nice. I don't know what it is. It's hard. It's different.
Your favorite restaurant?
I knew you were going to ask me this, and I tried to prepare an answer, and I don't have one.
You knew this was coming, and you could come up with a lie. Like, surely there's a Croatian restaurant even. Surely there is a restaurant. Well, okay, there's a restaurant in Zagreb, in the capital, which is one of my personal favorites, and I love it. It's up the top of the hill near the cathedral. It's called Kapuciner. Okay.
And they do a bit of everything. They do a lot of Croatian restaurants. They do a bit of everything. They do things like pizzas, pastas, meats, salads, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
They even have like a steakhouse next door that's attached to it.
Yep.
And yeah, if I had to, I know what, I didn't think about this early in advance because I was thinking local Wollongong. There's a lot of restaurants I love in Wollongong.
It could be anywhere.
I think one of my favorites is definitely Daolando Pizzeria.
Yep.
I love Daolando. I think it's great. What other restaurants do I like? It goes to show how often I go out to restaurants. Hey,
we're like generally just a pub feed or a.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, like restaurant stuff for me, anyway, my experience has always been more like dating. Yeah. I get to a nice restaurant on dates.
Yep.
I do sometimes with Zub. We've established this. You know the amount of times we've gone out just me and him, but we do. We go to a restaurant somewhere because sometimes
like a couple.
And people, we actually had it. I remember where were we once? Oh, I can't remember. I don't want to tell the story because I'm going to tell it wrong and Zub's going to hate me, so I won't. But yeah, I think people have definitely thought about us at various points.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so I don't do the restaurant thing often.
Yeah,
I don't think. Yeah, it's more like if I'm going out with the boys, we'll go Master Builders or we'll go Collies and
just have a sneak,
have a feed, have a slap maybe.
Yeah.
That's probably another thing about me. I don't mind a cheeky slap on the pokies here or there.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's the best after soccer. We'll finish because we're sponsored by the frat. So if we play home games, we'll finish up soccer, back to the frat, have a feed, and there'll be a group of like 6 or 7 of us from soccer. And we're like, come on, boys.
We make 50, a donation
$50 each. But there's like 6 or 7 of us, so we're playing all together. And I think we almost got kicked out of the frat once. We were being too rowdy on the boat.
Yeah. We were making a donation.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We like to support our local clubs in our community.
110%.
But yeah, favorite restaurant, if I had to pick one in Wollongong, I think I would say Daolando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Otherwise, overall, that one I mentioned in Croatia, it's one of my favorite restaurants.
I like the Croatian plug. That's good.
Yeah, that also might just be holiday goggles, like everything's nice.
Oh, everything. Like an airport beer.
Yeah.
Easy. Well,
controversial question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Which type of airport beer is your favorite? Is it the pre-trip or post-trip?
Pre.
That was a quick answer.
Like coming home, I'm normally in a state. So
I am too.
I don't want to be.
But there's something about, I've done it a handful of times. It's almost like that final send-off beer.
Oh, see, normally for me, it's like if we go away for 2 or 3 days, let's say you're flying out on the Sunday, you got to get to the airport at 10 or 11 a.m. You probably slept a few hours because you've had a big night the night before. And then it's crawling to the airport. The last thing I want is a beer.
Yeah, I'm the same. But normally, no.
Maybe I need to try that next time.
You should give it a go.
Yeah, okay.
Bittersweet. I think we've been yakking for a while now.
We have been yakking. Maddie normally keeps us in check and cuts us off when we go on.
She cuts you off.
Yeah, I need to be cut off.
Maddie, how long has Maddie gone for? 5 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah. So she won't be gone for long. I think there'll probably be one more recording session after this one where she's not present.
Yep.
So there'll probably, all up will be maybe 4 episodes. She's not in. So we'll be missing her, but
we will.
I've already seen the photos. I don't know if you saw Nick. Nick put a story on the Apex page. If you found a building in London that was called Apex. No.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, no, I saw it.
There's a photo of Nick in front of it going Apex going global. I thought it was hilarious. So they're already having a blast. You can clearly see.
Very jealous.
Yeah, absolutely. But think that'll do us. So
Yeah, a little touch into Christian's life and a
Yeah.
little bit more about Christian.
yeah,
And if you ever need any mortgage advice, contact Lover Finance.
yeah. give us a buzz. And we haven't plugged the podcast. I haven't done my usual spiel about if someone asks you, do you know a good plumber? You say no, but there's a great podcast you can listen to. Hit them up. How's it going? We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts, and this episode should hopefully be going live on YouTube as well.
I feel bad for YouTube.
We're gonna try to do it as a video podcast, but it'll also be going up on YouTube as an audio podcast too.
Okay, exciting.
And we have Noah English to thank for that. So shout out Noah.
Thank you, Noah.
I was one of our gaming buddies, and we had an argument over FIFA the other night where he was saying, I've terminated my Spotify subscription. Fuck it. YouTube. What was it? YouTube. Yeah. He said, oh, YouTube Premium. I'm using that now. And I went, well, how are you going to listen to the podcast? He goes, oh, fuck. It's not on YouTube, is it? I went, oh, maybe we need to fix that. So we can thank Noah for that. Thanks, Noah. All right. That'll do us. Let's wrap us up. Benny, hit us with it.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Everything presented in this podcast is for information and entertainment purposes only, and all advice is to be considered general in nature. It does not take into account your personal circumstances and financial objectives. Please consider if this advice is right for you and look to consult a financial professional.